and you have a family of maybe like 3 kids, you and your wife, and just assume, I've said it before on this platform, okay, you want to eat a meal of amala, and you want to eat meat or even fish, by the time you buy everything you need, Bimbo, I can bet you would have spent up to 15,000
naira. Yes.
By the time you buy the elubo, you buy the meat or the fish, you buy the pepper, and other things, you buy palm oil and other things that you need. Maybe that's if you are prudent.
Yes.
Still like up to 15,000. So by the time you spend that, okay, you have 35,000 naira left.
And you
have to take care of home needs.
Yeah, and the kids.
So topmost, if you are very prudent, maybe that 50,000 can last maybe up to a week. But most times, just a few, just maybe 2, 3, 4 days, it's gone.
Yes, and you actually know that the price of these food items that you mentioned, you know, there is this there are these small kinds of fish that they call shuku, you know, dried shuku, maybe sometimes fried, and money, you know, they are becoming expensive, more expensive in maybe they sell in Congo, some, you know, package.
Yeah, it will become expensive because more people are turning to them. So when the demand is high, of course it will become expensive. The prices will go up. And those things you mentioned, Bimbo, even if you say that, okay, let me be prudent, let me cut my coat according to my size or whatever, at the end of the day, we're all human. You get tired of eating those things.
Yes.
They are not very palatable. They could be palatable. Sometimes you could have a craving for them. But ultimately, you get tired of eating them. You want to eat a decent meal.
Yes.
So, okay, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, says a monthly salary of 1 million naira is worthless to workers without a stable naira and improved economic conditions. Mr. Joe Ajaero, NLC president, said this in an interview on Tuesday in Abuja. He said organized labor was more concerned about the value of the naira than nominal wage increases, stressing that rising inflation had continued to erode workers' purchasing power. He said the steady increase in the cost of living has made it difficult for workers to afford necessities, including food, transportation, and housing. And quoting him now, even if Nigerian workers earn 1 million naira, it will not be meaningful if the naira has no value. Already some people think, well, what we earn now is even too much. There are some government officials, some Wiki is one of them, that keeps saying that Nigerians, it talks as if we are ungrateful, and that himself and others in his position are doing everyone a favor, and that one of them even said that we need glasses, that we are blind.
Yes, and mentioned one type of glasses.
He said if we cannot see how good Nigeria is at present, how very wonderful, how very good things are at present. Yes, some Wiki too keep saying the same thing, that Nigerians are just being difficult, that he cannot understand how come we cannot see that how comfortable we are. It cannot come to terms with the fact that Nigerians are complaining, and it says that how come we cannot see the comfort that we are in at present. And he also thinks we should be grateful. There are many like that up there who do not know that it is raining outside. It looks like it's Mr. President himself is the one that keeps acknowledging that things are tough. And then maybe they are not really making him see just how tough things are. 1 million naira, Bimbo, lands quite the hard way. That even 1 million naira, just like the NLC president is saying, Bimbo.
Yes.
When you don't have it, you think it's a lot of money.
But when you have it, you know that it is no money.
So when they waste money on frivolous things, and we open our mouths and say, why are these people behaving like this? But when you are able to handle that kind of money, that's when you know that it's not really money. So the bottom line, the depreciation of the naira is valueless.
Yes,
very valueless.
Very less. Imagine picking a nomination form for an expression of interest form for 100,000, no, 100 million naira. Imagine.
I want one more quick issue. So that's why it's to us that we wonder that how come But they know, because they have access to that much money, and they know just how much that kind of money, or just what that kind of money can do. So, okay, and on Emefiele, suspects confessed to fraudulent withdrawal of $6.23 million from CBN. Okay, the travels of ex-CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. It says the 14th prosecution witness, PW, in the ongoing trial of the immediate past governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, on Tuesday, told the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, that some suspects confessed to fraudulently withdrawing the sum of $6.23 million from the Apex Bank. Emefiele is standing trial before Justice Hamza Muazu, sitting at Maitama, Abuja, on an amended charge bordering on criminal breach of trust, forgery, abuse of office, conspiracy to obtain by false pretense, and obtaining money to the tune of $6,230,000 by false pretense while serving as CBN governor. And the money was purportedly meant for international election observers for the 2023 general election.
Well,
sometimes when I think about what Mr. Emefiele is currently passing through, well, many Nigerians think he deserves what he's going through.
Yes.
But then sometimes I wonder if it hadn't been that, someone who wasn't very happy with him, of a different political camp from him, the same ruling party, but the same previous ruling party, but of a different camp, and someone who wasn't too happy with him became the president. You can imagine he would have had a free ride. All these things that are now coming out.
Yes.
He wouldn't have had to answer any questions. I'm not pronouncing him guilty, but then he wouldn't have had to answer all these questions. It would just have gone just like that.
Yes.
The over 700 and something duplexes and whatever.
I know those, yes.
So I'm just wondering what a country, Bimbo. What a country.
And of course, the real issue is, and what pained Nigerians most was the issue of the redesigning of the naira, and the withdrawal of some denominations, and people who are now battling to get notes from banks. So many issues that came up in banks that we witnessed.
They wanted to kill a bush rat, and they set the whole farm on fire.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they could not catch the bush rat.
Yes.
But then they almost destroyed the farm, the entire farm.
Yes. Well, Tola, this story here, I can't remember when I heard that this kind of story happens in our nation's ivory towers, universities. Now, the EFCC, Economic Commission, the Finance Commission, yes, Financial Crimes Commission, they are warning, talking about fraud in universities. Now, this is according to an investigation they conducted. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Oluyole, has decried the diversion of students' fees and other financial infractions in Nigerian universities, warning that such practices undermine the integrity of the education system. A statement by the Commission spokesman, Dele Oyewale, said Oluyole spoke in Kano on Tuesday while delivering a keynote address at the 8th Biennial Conference of the Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State Universities in Nigeria. He said investigations by the EFCC had uncovered cases involving inflated contracts, ghost workers, and diversion of students' fees in tertiary institutions across the country. The EFCC has investigated cases involving inflated contracts, ghost workers, and diverted student fees in tertiary institutions across the federation. That is what he said. And the EFCC boss noted that the universities manage multi-billion naira budgets, including tuition, TET fund allocations, and research grants, yet accountability challenges persist. We'll talk about that after this timeout. Stay with us.
It's Choco time. Donald Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open, pour, and enjoy the chocolatey ride. Donald Choco 3-in-1. taste it, love it. Dano Choco 3-in-1, I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Yes, the program is still Conversation on OLUYOLEFM 98.5 right here in the city of Ibadan. So Tola, check up the issues are raised now, talking about fraud in the university system. Well, the EFCC mentioned NEL fund, theft fund, inflation of contracts, school fees being diverted. And I remember that there was an issue that came up, I think sometimes last year, early last year, talking about this fund apparatus now. Yes, and that some issues were brought up, and the university organizations, the university system leaders were trying to look into these issues. So I don't know why. Well, I think he said investigations had been on for some time. That is the second phase of the investigations.
One of the issues that the federal government does have with the university authorities, especially when it comes to the issue of ASU and ASU going on strike, asking for the revitalization of universities, more funding for the universities, and the federal government would often sometimes ask that what the funding that we have pumped into the universities, yes, you need more, you are asking for more, but what we have done thus far, what have you done with it? The federal government does ask for accountability. They ask them to be accountable. Yes. And then you see ASU kind of having this kind of attitude, insisting that universities are autonomous. They insist on university autonomy, saying that indirectly saying that the federal government has no business probing into the accounts, into the finances of the universities. In short, they refuse to be accountable. So one of the issues, lingering issues between university authorities and the federal government.
But they are federal government owned.
Yes, they are federal government, but they are supposed to be universities' autonomy. But then that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be accountable. That doesn't mean there shouldn't be transparency. There must be something that they answer to. But then, while commending the EFCC for trying to open the books, for looking in this direction, I also want to. There's a particular direction where I feel the EFCC and the ICPC are still not doing enough. And that direction has to do with them beaming their lights on the political elite. It's, if you notice, but the trend in this country, it's only when a politician falls out of favor with the powers that be, or when he leaves a particular office, that is the time that the EFCC moves in on that particular politician. That is when they know that he has questions to answer. First, that they've known all this while. For instance, if I'm a politician and I want to be a governor, or I want to be the president of this country, and I purchase a nomination form for 100 million naira, I expect the EFCC to investigate and see whether I actually have the means, whether what I do supports that amount of money to purchase a nomination form. And they should be able to probe where did that money come from. So the other time they were purchasing this form as if they were, like I always say, as if they were buying puff by the roadside. So I think they should also look more. While I commend them for doing their job, I think they should also look more in that direction, and they should be more brazen and more audacious in calling the political class to order, and as regards corruption matters, so that you don't leave Nigerians thinking that there are sacred cows, that there are untouchables in this country.
Yes, you are quite correct. And it is not only the political class now that should be their satellite should be beamed at. It also even the banking sector. Yes, the banking sector too.
Yeah, those are the biggest thieves, if you ask me. And they are the ones that are very culpable when it comes to the issues of even terrorism. in this country. Many of this money used to fund terrorism is moved through these banks. And
yes. We'll take another break before we go on.
Unstoppable you, fueling your vitality the whole day through. Embrace each challenge with renewed might. With Supermalt, your performance takes flight.
With 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, one Supermalt multivitamin after breakfast every day keeps you going.
Right, we're back and it's still conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM. Right, AI, artificial intelligence, assisted EFCC to nab 792 suspected cyber criminals during operation in Lagos. As EFCC chairman.
Well, here we go again, Tola, talking about, you remember the Kwara abductees, 176. Well, the terrorists who abducted them, that is 176 women and children from the Woro community in Kaima local council of Kwara State, have threatened to carry out a mass execution if the Nigerian government fails to meet their demands within 1 week. The attackers, suspected to be members of the Boko Haram sect, reportedly issued the ultimatum after a Juma prayer session on Friday, according to community members and families who spoke to newsmen. The traditional ruler of the community.
Hold on. Who was praying?
No, after the prayers, it is the normal prayers.
Okay,
after
the community
prayers.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought you said the Boko Haram was praying.
No.
I was wondering.
Yes, well, he spoke to newsmen, that is according to the community members. The traditional ruler of the community, Saliu Bill, whose wife is among those being held captive, confirmed the threat to journalists. He explained that one of the abductees was allowed to contact her family and relay the message from the terrorists. And also, suspected Boko Haram insurgents have invaded Dapchi, the headquarters of Bosari local government area of Yobe State.
Dapchi again.
Yes. Well, I don't understand them. That means since all these weeks, no agreement has been made, no ransom has been paid, and the government is not doing anything.
Bimbo, each time there is an attack and there are negotiations, ransom is paid. And I thought maybe part of the agreements would be that this thing should not happen again. And each time there is a meeting, so-called peace meetings, peace deals with these elements, as it is done in some of the troubled states. One would think that the agreements would be that, okay, they should lay down their arms, even if it means them giving the terrorists money to go and do something better with their lives. You would think that it would involve, okay, the fact that they should lay down their arms and we shouldn't have this kind of incidents again. But here we are. It continues to linger. And if one of the victims was allowed to contact members of our family, I don't want to believe that that was done on a secure line. It was done through the normal line of communication.
Yes.
So, are you telling me that the intelligence authorities in Nigeria do not have the means to trace where that call is coming from, the location of that call? Even if, okay, maybe they, and I don't think they are that smart, even if they allow the woman to call her relatives, and at the end of the day, maybe they now have to move topmost. From what I know, they would have to move away from that location. Immediately.
Yes.
That is if they are indeed afraid of being caught up with by the Nigerian authorities. But apparently these people are very, very bold. Yes. And I don't even think they are in hiding, Bimbo.
Yes.
They are somewhere, and I believe the authorities know where they are, and they are daring the authorities to come rescue those ones. Well, of course, the excuse of collateral damage could be there, that if we're moving on them, we endanger the lives of those 176 people. But then there are ways of doing these things, Bimbo. And so what I'm just getting at here is that the audacity that on a normal line of communication, people are contacting their relatives to convey the message from the terrorists. Sometimes they even get so bold and they make videos, and
Actually, a video was made here, and a community source, who did not want to be named, painted a grimmer picture of the terrorist intention, saying the captors had threatened to even marry off some of the girls and kill those they considered liabilities, or if no agreement is reached within the deadline. And in a video released by the terrorist, an armed militant claimed responsibility for the abduction and described the victims as having been indoctrinated. And efforts to obtain an official reaction from the police were unsuccessful, as calls and text messages sent to the command's public relations officer Adetun Ijiri did not receive a response as at press time.
You know what I think, Bimbo? I think these ones are vulnerable, and the government would not really care about them. If it's school children now, not that they really care about the children of ordinary people who are in school and were abducted by terrorists, but because they know that school children, that would cause, especially if they are girls, that would cause a big international embarrassment. So they quickly move in and do the needful and pay the ransom as soon as possible. I say this because now a government that has enough funds to be spending on so-called repentant terrorists, to make them very comfortable, to invite them into the comfort of government offices and roll out huge sums of money in the name of repentancy programs and rehabilitation and reformation, that can spend that kind of money. So if it's to keep spending money on the release of innocent citizens who are the victims of these people, the abductees. So why not also spend that kind of money too? The same kind of money you spend on criminals, why not also spend them on securing the release? If that is the only way you know, if that is the only thing you can think of as a government, if that is all you know, if that all you, if that's the only thing you know how to do, that is the only way you can think of to solve the problem. So be it. And then for me, I would say it, whatever it will take to secure the lives of the innocent who are the victims of these people. So by all means, let it be done, if we cannot think of any other way. That's my position on that, Bimbo. And I don't know how long, we shouldn't dismiss the threats of these elements. These are people who can wipe out entire communities, who can wipe out an entire town, and they have that capability. So they will kill those people, probably abandon their bodies somewhere in the bush. And
they will flee.
They won't even bother to give them burial.
With the ladies that they will marry off somewhere else after indoctrination. Yes, it happened during the Chibok saga. Then when some ladies were married off, and some didn't even want to come back home.
Some of them returned with their babies.
And some with pregnancies.
Right. Also have this one. Senate moves to allocate 1% of Federation account. Orders to police funding amid clamor for state police. And kidnappers demand 500 million naira ransom for farm managers' release in Ondo.
Yes, remember that story? That was, I think, 2 days ago or so.
And I wonder where they expect the farm manager or his employer to get 500 million naira. Gunmen who kidnapped a farm manager in Imafon community in Akure North local government area of Ondo State on Monday have reportedly demanded a ransom of 500 million naira for his release. The victim, Afolabi Ajayi, was abducted by the gunmen moments after he arrived at the farm. Ajayi was said to have stepped out of his vehicle to assess activities on the farm premises when the gunmen emerged from a nearby bush and seized him. A family source disclosed that the kidnappers made contact on Tuesday and demanded 500 million naira ransom to secure his freedom. Okay.
That's unfortunate there.
And the families will rather look for, or invariably, eventually the money will be beaten down.
Yes, will be beaten down. That's what I think.
But the sad thing here is that the trust deficit between Nigerians and the security agencies, they would rather prefer to look for that money than trust the security agencies to effect a release.
Yes.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Okay. Bimbo, do you know e-cigarettes?
E-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes. Smoke cigarettes.
Have you ever come across one?
It has been in circulation for a long time.
E-cigarettes.
Yes.
So, but
no smoke will be emitted.
so it's supposed to be safer.
That is what I hear people say, the smokers say. At least something will be, going inside their throats and heart.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think I had the opportunity of seeing one in a mall. Yes, in a mall.
Okay, e-cigarettes emit toxic metals, raising new health concerns. That's according to a study. Now, researchers at the University of Technology, Sydney, UTS, have demonstrated that even brief vaping at exposure levels lower than typical human use can lead to the accumulation of dangerous metals such as lead, copper, and nickel in lung tissue. That's in a study published in the Analytical and Bioanalytical Chemistry. The team found that e-cigarette aerosols contain metal-based organometallic compounds, including those linked to tin and mercury. These forms are often more bioavailable and biologically reactive than their inorganic counterparts. Well, I wish they would say all this in English. Bimbo. You know what I mean? I don't understand one bit of what they are saying.
But what I know is that it is if you want one e-cigarette now, it is readily available at all these malls, all these complexes. You find them there, but quite expensive anyway.
Big Daddy Kenneth Graham has been a commissioner for enjoyment as far as I've known him, and he might not just what's the difference between the e-cigarette and the conventional cigarette, and then which is more enjoyable. Big Daddy doesn't smoke, but of course he does.
He has been in town for a long time.
He has been in town. Yes, you get his bingo. He has been in town for a long time, and he has worked with the big boys.
Yes.
So you might just know which one is whether one is safer than the other.
Yes.
We'll ask Big Daddy after the program.
Yes, this one says, now talking about the return of the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. United Nations raises concern over the new xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and Oluyole seeks diplomatic reset as Nekasa alleges police brutality. The United Nations UN has expressed concern over renewed reports of xenophobic violence in South Africa, calling on authorities to take urgent steps to protect foreign nationals and prevent further escalation, and condemning the recurring killings and alleged harassment of Nigerians in South Africa. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Oluyole, called on the federal government to urgently review its diplomatic approach and consider stronger measures to protect citizens abroad. And that is according to a statement by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He expressed grief following reports of attacks targeting migrants and non-nationals, warning that such incidents pose a threat to social cohesion and the rule of law. Xenophobic attacks again. I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the chairman of people living in diaspora, I think Abike Dabiri Erewa, they have a lot of work to do here.
It's strange to me, Bimbo, that the South Africans, the black South Africans now, the whites that punished them for so long, that oppressed them for so long, right from the onset, when the iron curtain of apartheid eventually fell. They are not even thinking of retaliating against the whites. I'm not saying they should, Bimbo, but they are not even thinking of venting their spleen on the white South Africans. Rather, it is their fellow blacks. They also fight themselves, Bimbo. The black South Africans. Then they also turn on fellow blacks who are different nationals aside them South Africa. So I wonder how come that it is blacks like themselves that they find irritating, that they find repulsive. They are not angry with the whites. I think yesterday they said that they were the children of blacks from other countries, they refuse to allow them access to school. These xenophobic protesters or whatever they call themselves. And of course, and I was not thinking in my mind that so the children of the whites that punished you for so long will be allowed to go to school, but fellow blacks, people from countries that rallied round to free you from the shackles of apartheid. But somebody now explained it to me that the current generation of South African youths, black South African youths, do not know what transpired all that time, that they are not aware. They were either babies at the time or they were not even born. So of course, but even at that, how come you are seeing your own fellow Africans as the problem? Yes, I agree. Some of our people do go there to commit crime, to do all sorts of things. But then, like I said, I cannot help but wonder. I'm not saying that they should start attacking whites too, but I'm just wondering why they are not angry with the whites. Even if they were not born at the time, they must know the facts of history.
You know, Nigerians are hardworking people. Anywhere they go, you will see the impact. You will feel the impact of Nigerians. And from information that we had, that those carrying out these xenophobic attacks do not like the way Nigerians are making money there. They don't like it. They claim that they are snatching their women, you know, their ladies, their businesses, they are overtaking their businesses and the likes.
Well, Nigerians are hardworking, but we are also told that Nigerians do get involved in a lot of criminal activities.
Yes. We'll take another break. We'll be back.
I am malaria, the king of malaria parasites. My mission is simple: to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on.
Effective relief from malaria. Comal on. Malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
Wake up, it's choco time. Donna Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open for and enjoy the chocolatey ride. Donna Choco 3-in-1, ooh, taste it, love it. Donna Choco 3-in-1, ooh, I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Right, we're back, and it's still conversation. Time to open the phone lines. We have our first caller here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good to have you, Mr. Akobiadibayo.
God bless you, sir.
Amen.
On South Africa issue, let me borrow this. On matter what you know.
Can you move away from your radio set, sir?
Our Tasomana is there. It's not the same for us as Nigerians, even the Nigerian government, to be hearing that we have been maltreated in South Africa. It's a lesson for them if they want to. On the issue of workers' salaries, sir, there is no amount of money that is sufficient for the workers in this country, in as much as our naira has lost its value. I remember a brother I lived with in the early 80s. We lived together in the same face me and face you house then. This man was earning less than 300 naira a month, and surprisingly, he was living very big. He has 3 of his younger brothers living with him. He has a wife and 2 kids. You can imagine. In the midst of all this man was able to buy a new electric Yamaha motorcycle, double silencer. That is to tell you that, like you said yesterday, that Nigeria is living. The best of Nigeria is in the past. God help us. On the issue of Oluyole and Masikano, where are these people still remain in detention? Let them try them. If they are found guilty, let them be sentenced. Their continued detention is raising some issues in some quarters, as people have started reading negative meaning, political and tribal meanings to it. Please let them be tried. If they are not found guilty, let them be freed. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Akobiadibayo.
08055009850. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
I'm Julius. On South Africa, not that those guys not try to attack the white. They've tried it. They took some of their properties and all that. But you know what the whites did? You know, white people are very organized. They network their people, their brothers from other countries, and those one reach the very top. President Trump called the president of South Africa to his office, and right in his notes he told him, "Why are you killing white people?" Straight question. Not we are trying to know why are you killing. The president of South Africa was stunned and said, "No, we are not killing white people." He said, "We don't want to hear that again," and immediately that thing stopped. That is just it. So leadership in AU are very, I don't want to use this word, but I'm on the radio. I don't know the reason why we have AU. The reason why we have AU, the reason why we have UN. I don't know. Where all these things are happening, and you guys are just looking around. They are killing people, beating up people, and you call yourself AU. I don't know. Then, Mr. Tola, I want the government of the state to observe this thing, especially the Ministry of the Environment and Austroma or something like that. Trailers have been back from Yana Church to Dizengoff with sorghums and maybe millet and all that. The trailers have been there for weeks, maybe 2 weeks now. They've been disrupting traffic and all that. It could have caused accidents. Africa has been, whenever you pass through that place, you will just feel sorry for people. You said anything can happen here. It has narrowed the road. It has narrowed the length of the road. Accidents could have occurred. Are we going to wait till when somebody lost his life there? So, Oyo State, Austroma, or Ministry of Environment should take note. Those trailers should be removed before weekend because it's giving a lot of people a lot of problem over there. So, thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that information here.
All right, what you mentioned about those trailers, it's something that happens yearly about this time when they bring those grains to
the silos.
The silos, strategic grains reserve, the silos. It happens there, but like you said, there should be a way by which either they are able to offload their cargo much earlier, and they don't have to stay on the road for that length of time. And your observation is well noted.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Alaji Alilabugu, PhD from Lanlata.
Good to have you.
I don't want to go with the assertion or analogy of those who are saying they should not increase workers' salary. Now, things are not so easy. Prices of commodity are skyrocketed and it's not coming down. And it is something that affects on the workers. Now, if you say they should not increase the workers' salary and things refuse to come down, are you telling me that the worker has more than 50,000 or let me say 70,000 people that cannot buy cement, bag of cement? So, and they have children. So, if government refuse to at least get down the price of commodity, there is no alternative to increase the workers' salary. I think that analogy should go to the extent that not only that, look at the pump price of petrol and other things. So workers cannot continue to live in that dear poverty. I think that one will stop there. On coalition, yesterday we learned that the president is boasting that he has obtained the form and he will win. He is supposed to put inshallah. That's what is expected of a Muslim. When you want to say something or you want to find or get something, you say inshallah, that is the Allah's help. So by saying that I will win, so that confidence is not good enough. So and we should learn from that. If you want to reach a post or you want to at least achieve left right, you have just to say that inshallah or say it in media with Allah's help. Thank you, Dr. Ilabugu from Lanlata.
Yes, thank you very much.
Dr. Ilabugu.
Yes, one more call here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Caleb Alabi from Malada Shebolo. I just want to comment on the issue of AGC shifting. Who's asking the court to deliver the judgment on time? Because at this moment, AGC is like a ship shepherd because the appraisal officer has been deleted from the register. So I want to let my voice so that the AGC will not be in jeopardy because after this time, if the judge not deliver on time, then 10 for the AGC to be deleted. And then we have one party because this only AGC that we are hoping that can give APC go fight for their run. Secondly, on this of Ajaero, who is asking the federal government to make sure that Nigeria is stable. No amount of amount you are handing. If you are handing 100 million per month, the moment the station is persisting, the money will be diluted. That's a working day.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Caleb Alabi. All right, check your time at 7:30, and we have to go. Been an interesting time on conversation. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akande. Thank you very much for coming. And yes, Sports Tidbits is next. Toby is here.